keep your issues to yourself. All right? You went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a Four Seasons in the shopping district. Stop talking. I don't mind the T-shirts. I think you have leverage. I think you deserve more than 9%. But it's just misstep after misstep. It's time to grow up, girls, like fast. Like this is the player that got you off the airline that was bright yellow.
Sports media analyst Colin Cowherd recently addressed the ongoing transformation within the WNBA, focusing on player compensation demands and the dramatic changes occurring throughout the league. His commentary highlighted both the positive developments and internal tensions that have emerged during this period of unprecedented growth. The WNBA Players Association recently organized collective action regarding salary negotiations, with athletes wearing coordinated T-shirts to demonstrate unity around compensation demands. The league has indeed experienced significant growth after decades of financial challenges, creating legitimate grounds for improved player compensation discussions. However, certain comments made during this campaign drew criticism for targeting specific individuals rather than focusing solely on collective bargaining goals.
The airline that was bright yellow. Right? She got you an upgrade to a better hotel as a band member. So I do think a lot of people are saying, hey, man, this league has never made money. It's an investment. It's now going to make money. And by the way, this is the least profitable, arguably, it'll be over the next 10 years. It's only going to get more profitable as women's basketball gets better, as the Caitlin Clark momentum train gets bigger. I mean, this year, she's not playing well.
During media appearances related to the compensation campaign, some players made statements that appeared to diminish the contributions of teammates. Kelsey Plum specifically mentioned that certain team members were absent from planning meetings, creating unnecessary divisions during what should have been a unified effort. These comments drew sharp criticism from sports commentators who viewed them as counterproductive to both team chemistry and league growth. Cowherd's analysis emphasized the dramatic transformation the WNBA has undergone in recent years. For over 2 decades, the league struggled with basic operational challenges, including limited travel budgets that required players to use budget airlines with minimal amenities. Athletes performed in largely empty arenas, with franchises losing money consistently while merchandise sales remained minimal due to limited fan interest and availability.
I mean, this year, she's not playing well. She's hurt. She's not there for all the games. So this is actually not as great as it could be. Like Michael Jordan, hurt year 2, next 12 years were legendary. That's what it's going to be. So I think they deserve a big raise, maybe not 50% of revenues, because NBA stars, there's a lot of them, and they move the needle. The WNBA stars, well, there's one that moves the needle. And here's the other thing to remember. Caitlin Clark's already rich. She made $11 million.
The arrival of certain high-profile players fundamentally altered this trajectory. Statistical evidence shows remarkable improvement across multiple metrics, including merchandise sales, attendance figures, and overall franchise profitability. Some teams experienced merchandise sales increases of 500%, while league-wide attendance jumped approximately 40%. Previously struggling franchises transformed from financial burdens into profitable enterprises. The Indiana Fever exemplified this transformation, evolving from one of the league's most financially troubled organizations to having waiting lists for season tickets. This dramatic change occurred within a relatively short time frame, demonstrating how individual talent can reshape entire business models when properly leveraged and supported.
$11 million this year alone in endorsements off the court. So regardless of how these negotiations go, she's set. Nobody else is, right? Like, so when somebody joins the band and everything gets upgraded, just be happy. Just, I know you wanted your song to be the first one they played. You wanted to make up the set.
Cowherd used vivid analogies to illustrate the magnitude of these changes, comparing the transformation to upgrading from budget accommodations in questionable neighborhoods to luxury establishments in premium locations. His point emphasized that when circumstances improve dramatically due to specific catalysts, gratitude and professional respect should guide responses rather than criticism or resentment. The financial reality supporting these improvements cannot be ignored. Television ratings spiked significantly during games featuring certain players, attracting sponsors who previously showed little interest in women's basketball. Social media engagement has reached unprecedented levels, with merchandise flying off shelves faster than manufacturers can produce it. Young fans are engaging with the sport in ways that create sustainable growth patterns. However, internal dynamics have created complications that threaten to undermine this progress. All-Star voting results revealed concerning patterns that suggested professional jealousy might be influencing player relationships. Fan voting consistently ranks certain players much higher than their peer evaluations, creating obvious disparities that couldn't be explained by performance metrics alone. The gap between fan recognition and player acknowledgement became particularly stark during All-Star selections. While statistical performance and impact measurements supported certain rankings, peer voting placed the same individual significantly lower. This discrepancy appeared to reflect personal feelings rather than objective basketball evaluation. Cowherd compared these dynamics to other professional sports situations where young stars face similar challenges from veteran players. He referenced examples from various leagues where established athletes initially resented newcomers who brought increased attention and success. However, most professional environments eventually embrace these changes once the benefits become apparent. The resistance patterns observed in current WNBA dynamics differ from typical rookie hazing or veteran leadership approaches. Instead of mentoring or constructive competition, some situations appear to involve deliberate attempts to minimize contributions from players who have demonstrably improved league conditions for everyone. Drawing parallels to basketball history, Cowherd noted that transformative players often face increased physical challenges as opponents attempt to neutralize their impact through aggressive play. He compared current situations to the treatment Michael Jordan received during his early NBA years when teams implemented specific strategies designed to wear down emerging stars through excessive contact. The pattern of escalating physicality represents both recognition of exceptional talent and attempts to intimidate players who change competitive dynamics. Officials often struggle to balance allowing competitive play while protecting athletes who generate unprecedented interest and revenue for their leagues. Organizations have historically responded to these challenges by acquiring players specifically to protect their stars. The Chicago Bulls famously brought in Charles Oakley to shield Jordan from excessive physical play. Similar protective strategies have emerged in current WNBA roster construction, with teams adding players known for defensive intensity and willingness to engage in physical confrontation. The developmental trajectory for exceptional players typically follows predictable patterns. Initial hazing gives way to increased physicality, which may escalate to flagrant contact before officials and league administrators establish appropriate boundaries. Understanding this progression helps contextualize current events within broader sports history. Cowherd's most significant prediction involved comparing current WNBA dynamics to Jordan's early career trajectory. He suggested that just as Jordan's second season struggles led to legendary subsequent years, similar patterns might emerge for current stars facing adversity. The intensity and challenges they experience now could forge mental toughness that produces sustained excellence. The financial implications of embracing versus resisting transformative players extend far beyond individual careers. Television contracts, however, continued internal resistance could split the league into factions that undermine collective progress. History shows that successful transformations require buy-in from existing stakeholders rather than persistent conflict between established players and emerging stars. The comparison to other sports leagues provides relevant context. Mixed martial arts grew exponentially around specific personalities before expanding into broader mainstream acceptance. Individual stars often catalyze broader industry growth, but sustained success requires collective commitment to maximizing opportunities. Cowherd's analysis concluded with emphasis on appreciating current circumstances rather than fighting against obvious success. The WNBA is experiencing unprecedented growth that benefits all participants. Professional wisdom suggests supporting rather than undermining the factors driving this transformation. The broader message transcends individual personalities or specific situations. When industries experience dramatic positive change, stakeholders benefit most by embracing rather than resisting these developments. Fighting against success makes little strategic sense when everyone can prosper together. The 2025 season could represent a watershed moment for women's basketball if internal conflicts resolve in favor of collective progress. The foundation for mainstream sports consciousness exists, but requires unified effort rather than continued divisiveness among players who should be working toward common goals. goals. Success in professional sports often depends on recognizing and adapting to changing circumstances rather than clinging to previous patterns that no longer serve anyone's interests. The WNBA transformation offers opportunity for all participants, but only if they choose collaboration over competition and appreciation over resentment. The topic of WNBA salary negotiations deserves serious consideration, as professional athletes across all sports have legitimate grounds for requesting compensation increases. The league currently experiences unprecedented momentum, making this an opportune time for contract discussions regardless of historical financial struggles spanning the previous 2.5 decades. Recent developments show promise as an investment finally beginning to generate returns. This week, players demonstrated unity by wearing coordinated t-shirts demanding better compensation, which represents reasonable advocacy for their professional interests. However, complications arose when certain individuals chose to criticize absent colleagues rather than maintaining focus on collective bargaining objectives. Kelsey Plum of Las Vegas made pointed comments about teammate participation, specifically noting the absence of particular players from organizational meetings. These remarks created unnecessary tension during what should have been a unified effort to secure improved working conditions for all league members. Current financial structures reveal significant disparities between men's and women's professional basketball. NBA players receive approximately 50% of league revenues, while WNBA players earn only 9% of generated income, with merchandise sales increasing 500% and attendance rising 40%. Compensation adjustments appear inevitable and justified. Historical profitability concerns become irrelevant when evaluating current negotiations. Investment strategies typically focus on present momentum rather than past performance, particularly when recent trends indicate positive trajectory. Companies frequently make acquisitions based on projected growth rather than historical earnings, as demonstrated by major media corporations purchasing initially unprofitable ventures for strategic positioning. The Athletic serves as an excellent example, losing $45 million annually when the New York Times acquired it. The purchase occurred because the digital sports publication provided scale and answered specific market needs during challenging periods for traditional media companies. Profitability wasn't the primary consideration. Strategic value and future potential drove the decision. Similar logic applies to WNBA negotiations, where current momentum and future projections carry more weight than historical losses. The league's trajectory suggests significant growth potential over the coming decade, making increased player compensation both reasonable and necessary for continued development. However, targeting specific individuals who contributed to this success represents counterproductive strategy. One particular player transformed the league's circumstances dramatically, elevating travel accommodations from budget airlines with additional fees to private transportation options. This upgrade mirrors a band transitioning from budget motels to luxury accommodations after adding a member who expanded their audience significantly. Professional maturity requires acknowledging contributions while pursuing collective goals. When circumstances improve dramatically due to specific individuals, focusing on internal conflicts rather than capitalizing on enhanced leverage becomes self-defeating. The transformation from economy travel with basic amenities to premium accommodations should inspire gratitude rather than resentment. The league's least profitable period may be ending, with projections showing continued growth as women's basketball develops and star power expands. Current challenges, including injuries and limited availability of key players, actually represent conservative estimates of potential success. Historical parallels with other sports suggest that initial breakthrough seasons often precede extended periods of unprecedented achievement. Michael Jordan's injury-shortened second season preceded 12 legendary years that defined professional basketball. Similar patterns may emerge as current stars develop and league infrastructure improve. The foundation being established now will support future expansion and enhanced profitability. One crucial factor distinguishes current negotiations from traditional professional sports scenarios. While NBA stars collectively drive fan interest and revenue generation, WNBA's success currently depends heavily on individual impact. This concentration of influence affects how revenue sharing should be structured and evaluated. Financial security varies dramatically among players, with some some earning substantial endorsement income independent of league salaries. Off-court opportunities provide additional compensation streams that insulate certain individuals from negotiation outcome. This disparity creates different priorities and perspectives within the player association. When transformative additions occur in any organization, whether musical groups or professional sports teams, wisdom suggests focusing on collective benefits rather than individual recognition. Previous arrangements may have been adequate for earlier circumstances, but enhanced situations require adjusted perspectives and mature responses. The T-shirt campaign itself represents effective advocacy and demonstrates appropriate use of collective bargaining pressure. Players deserve significantly more than their current 9% revenue share, and current momentum provides substantial leverage for negotiations. However, undermining key contributors while pursuing these goals represents strategic miscalculation. League development requires balancing individual recognition with collective advancement. Star players inevitably receive disproportionate attention and compensation, but their success creates opportunities for all participants. Mature organizations recognize these dynamics and structure relationships accordingly. Growing industries face natural tensions between established participants and newcomers who accelerate development. Managing these relationships effectively determines whether organizations capitalize on growth opportunities or fragment due to internal conflicts. Professional sports leagues must navigate these challenges carefully to maintain momentum. Current WNBA circumstances parallel other entertainment industries where breakthrough performers transform entire ecosystems. Rather than resenting individual success, mature participants recognize how rising tides benefit all vessels. Strategic thinking focuses on maximizing collective gains rather than minimizing individual achievements. The negotiation environment favors players due to demonstrable growth metrics and positive projections. Merchandise sales, attendance figures, and media attention provide concrete evidence supporting compensation increases. These objective measures strengthen arguments more effectively than subjective complaints about recognition or participation. Future success depends on maintaining unity while pursuing legitimate compensation goals. Internal divisions weaken bargaining positions and distract from core objectives. Professional maturity requires setting aside personal grievances to achieve collective advance. League transformation creates opportunities for all participants, but only if relationships remain productive and focused on shared goals. The current moment represents a critical juncture where strategic decisions will determine whether recent progress continues or stagnates due to internal conflict.